Third is Suarez. Goodell comes running in. He's under it, makes the catch. Here's the throw to the plate. It's in the air. He is out! Cameron Red hangs on! Oh, man, what a play! Deep to right field. Way up there and way second
And welcome back to the Stupid Money Podcast. And I think in the past, we joked when it was like a negative episode. It was just overreacting. They were 7 games under 500 the first week of June, and we were like jokingly mad, I guess, is the best way to put it. This might be the first time where it's, this season at least, where it's actually negative for a good reason, I feel like. So we talked right before the homestand started. The Phillies had 7 against the Marlins and the Braves. The Phillies playing really well at home. And the Phillies go 2-5 on this homestand. And the frustrating part is they probably should have won 4 out of the 5 they lost. The only one that was uncompetitive was this last game against the Braves, 4-1 Strider. That game annoyed me because he threw 35 pitches in the first inning and still somehow got through the 7th. It's just how they're playing lately. The bullpen blew leads in the 2 losses to the Marlins. They weren't big leads, but like, come on, they blew both of them. And we had we had 2. I'm sorry. We had 2 more dramatic 8th, 9th inning moments ruined by the bullpen. It was everything this fan base hates about this team in 1 week.
Yeah, and conveniently enough, the week happened to be in September, where everyone was like, yeah, they finally put away the September narratives, and then they came back this year, and that was just not true. Could not be further from the truth. Yeah, like you said, they went 2-5, and probably, like, a lot of times you could be like, oh, yeah, like, this could have happened. Like, one bounce, and you're 4-3 instead of 2-5. But, like, you can realistically say that they went 2-5 and not could have, but should have gone 6-1.
Yeah, I don't think it's not being biased. They legitimately were in the driver's seat in all 4 of those games at one point.
And it's like, oh, well, you could look at that and be like, oh, they played the Braves and the Marlins, who they always struggle with, and they were in positions to win all those games. But like at this point in the year, especially with how they've been playing at home, it's like it was just embarrassing. Like the entire thing from start to finish, it was just an embarrassing homestand. And like the offense showed up. Like they scored a load of runs. Like they're out there, they have to score 8 to even like win a game at this point. Like the starting pitching's been a joke. I'm not gonna rip too much on Wheeler because like he, aside from like the one blow up start at the Little League Classic, like since the All-Star break, he has like a 2.4. And then, like, obviously you want your ace to kind of put a stop to the bleeding in a big start against the Braves to, like, try and hinder them from clinching on your home field. And he didn't have a good start. Like, oh, well, that's, like, his first bad start in a month. So, like, you can't really whip Wheeler. Like, everyone else has just been atrocious outside of Christopher Sanchez. The only 2 guys that I trust in the pitching staff right now, I guess 3: Wheeler, Sanchez, and Jeff Hoffman. Everyone else, it's like they're just all like losers at this point.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Like Kimbrel, I've lost faith in. Alvarado's been shaky. Soto is Soto. You know, it's 3 scoreless outings and then 4 runs the next, and
3 scoreless outings when they're already losing, and they just like put him in as the bridge guy. But if he comes in with a lead, then kiss it goodbye.
Yeah, Dominguez just cannot stop giving up untimely home runs. It seems like he's the king of it, and they're all like 0-2 pitches with 2 outs too. It's driving me nuts. I did want to. We have to show. We talked about this. There's a 5th one not pictured. It's from Ben Kenny.
The 5th one was what? Turner in Milwaukee.
Yeah, the one that's not pictured is Turner's 3-run home run in the 8th inning against Milwaukee. The Phillies hit a home run in each of these spots. They lost all 4 games. I know. Let's try to blow this up, but so the top left is the first game of the Braves series from this week. The first game of the doubleheader, where the Phillies were down big and clawed back. A big home run from Trey Turner, I think 2 innings earlier, and then Bryce Harper absolutely owns Iglesias, and so does Turner, by the way, because what was that, bottom right is Turner tying the game off of Iglesias in this series too. And the Phillies lost both games in extra innings, where they gave up 2 in the top of the 10th, the first game, the Harper game, and they gave up 1 in the Turner game. The problem is they didn't score in the bottom of the 10th either time, which Castellanos has been a problem because he's been up in both innings and has done absolutely nothing. There was the Harper game tying 3-run home run off the pull against the Giants, and then of course the 300. So 5 games pretty much where your 2 $300 million players have come through for you in the spot where you pay them to, and then the guys you're paying in the back end of your bullpen, Kimbrel and Alvarado, have blown all 5 of them.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Obviously, I feel really bad for like Harper and Turner because like I don't know what else they can do. Like, I guess hit a walk off, but like it's not their fault that like Turner let off the inning, but like I don't. It's just so frustrating because it's like I don't know what it is with the bullpen. Is it like a lack of competitiveness or like what? Like Caleb Cotham has the PHAH motto for like the pitching staff, like bleep all hitters. Well, after Harper hit the home run and tied off Iglesias, I know they have the ghost runner now on second, so like it starts with a runner in scoring position. But it literally took 2 pitches for the Braves to take the lead. Like your guy, your superstar MVP, $330 million player, hits a home run to tie a game off a historically good closer who has like that was like his first blown save of the second half. He's been insane, like a sub 0.5 ERA, and your guy hits a home run off of him the first game of a huge series, and it takes 2 pitches for the lead, like the tie game, to go away and all the momentum to get sucked out. Like at some point you have to like act like a professional and actually get guys out. Like Orlando Arcia is having a great year. Jose Alvarado should be able to throw pitches past him to get him out. Like I don't know. The bullpen, I'm out on the bullpen. We talked about how it was historically good through the middle of the season, like the best bullpen in the league. Like there's not, aside from Hoffman, there's not one guy that you could consistently trust to get out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's these guys being overworked. Obviously, Dominguez is banged up still, I'm led to believe at this point, and Alvarado has spent time on the IL. Kimbrel's at his age, this is like an all-time usage for him, which doesn't help. Soto, I think, is being used maybe about where because he was a closer, so obviously he would be used more frequently. So I think now that he's like a 7th inning guy here, he's the only one that might have about the same or reduced innings versus his career norms. But yeah, not getting another guy at the deadline obviously crushed them. Obviously, it sounds like Lorenzen's going to go out there pretty soon. Actually, I think this weekend, because they said after the doubleheader on Monday, they were going to a 5 again. So it sounds like he's going on a bullpen. He's been really bad since the no-hitter. I mean, we talked about this, but
I didn't think his start the other night wasn't like awful.
No,
like
it wasn't terrible.
The 3-run homer that Olsen hit, like he hit that off of the ground. Like that wasn't a bad pitch by any means, but like he just doesn't have an out pitch. Like the changeups and sliders like aren't competitive at all.
No. Where was I going now? Okay, so we went through the bullpen. I did want to give props to Trey Turner because he is on a tear of tears since this standing ovation, which was 40 days ago now, I think. So, like, I think they've played – well, he missed a couple games to have a kid. So he had a kid this time, too, since the standing ovation. But I think he's played in 34, 35 games, somewhere around there.
Something like that.
He has, 16 home runs. His batting average has risen 40 He's to raise your batting average 40 points this late into a season over a month is so impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that pretty easily in April and May, but to do that in August and September when you have so many ABs like already under your belt, the average rarely moves one way or the other for a little hot stretch. But was it 380, I think, in the time?
Something like that.
You finally got the guy you wanted. Bryce Harper seems to be whenever you need him to, he somehow always comes through, which is just insane.
Yeah.
Schwarber is hitting home runs again, although he was really cold.
He's like back to 200.
Yeah, he is hitting 200. He started hitting some singles. He was a little cold in the Brave series though, which didn't help. But the problem really seems to be they cannot find someone to protect Harper. Castellanos was working, now it's not. They went to Bohm, and now Bohm's struggling again. So I don't know what they do. They went to Real Muto. Real Muto is just god awful at home. The Trey Turner tying home run game the other night, where he ties it at 6, and like the next two Bohm singles, Turner Harper singles. So they have first and second with no outs, and they have Real Muto batting behind Harper, which just didn't do anything because he struck out on 3 pitches after the first guy runs a deep count home run. The second guy runs a deep count single. The third guy runs a deep count single. And he goes up there and swings at 3 pitches and just gets blown away. And then Castellanos does what Castellanos does, and first pitch grounds into a double play. But the problem is, if Real Muto bunted, the Braves play the infield in, and that Castellanos ball gets through because it was hard hit, like down to the third base bag. So it would have worked if he bunted. And Rob Thompson said after the game that it's something he's never done before. Well, guess what? I know you're paying him a lot of money, but he's struggling. Your backup catcher, for all his offensive woes, actually can bunt. Make the move and win the game there. Don't worry about, well, what am I supposed to do with Stubbs behind the plate with Acuna running or something? Who cares? Don't let it get to that point. There's too much ego, I feel like, going on here because of all these big contracts going on where they did move Castellanos down at 7 and 8. So I'll give them credit there, but it just seems like these guys can't get out of their own ways at times, and the manager seems to be letting them off the hook.
Yeah, I immediately wanted either JT to bunt or have Stubbs up there to bunt, and it's like you said, he's never done that before, and like you mentioned with the potential egos, it's like I don't give a damn about what the guy with the 600 or sub 600 OPS at home, what his ego thinks. Like if it's on the road, like it's crazy to think that like the home and road splits make that much of a difference, especially when it's normally like vice versa. You're better at home. But like at this point, 145 games into the season, it's not a small sample size where it's just like, oh, it might be a thing. Like it's 145 games into a season. It is a thing. Like it is a real thing that you have to be cognizant of at this point of the year when the games mean so much more, and you're only a game and a half, 2.5 games up with the tiebreaker on a home playoff spot. It's like, make the move, get a bunt down, even if the first time, like you have Stubbs do it for a hit, and if you still want the guy on, like Real Muto, again, they were all strikes, like they were all fastballs, like essentially right down the middle. It's not like he chased after the long at bats before him. Like he wasn't even close. Like 95 was in the glove and he was swinging. I think that he's overcoaching in certain situations where he's playing these matchups religiously. And like, yes, Marsh has been struggling, but he's your leading OPS guy for the first 4.5 months of the season. But the minute the 6th inning rolls around and there's a lefty on the mound, let's bring in Christian Pache. But then when JT Realmuto's up with guys on first and second, no outs with a chance to win the game off an elite closer, he's never bunted before and he's getting paid $25 million. So let's just watch him flail. Like at some point you have to throw out the contracts and actually coach on what you've seen for 145 games.
Yeah, and you need to be mindful of the fact that the guy behind Real Muto grounds to third 3 times a game pretty much. You need to be mindful of the fact that, look, this could, if he doesn't move these runners, this could very well end on a double play right away, and it did. So
we were like a week removed from Castellanos going 0 for 4 with three double plays.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, yeah, Castellanos, this guy who is hitting 315 at the All-Star break, it's what, 268 now, I think.
Yeah.
It's not good the way he's declined. And I don't understand this Real Muto home road split, because if you look at like Turner, Harper, Schwarber, it's the complete opposite, where they are just red hot at home, of course, because one, it's a smaller park. Two, you think you're more comfortable. You sleep in your own bed every night. There's no travel really involved. It's a lot easier on you. For some reason, for him, it's the complete opposite. And I don't know why. I'd love to know why. I guess he must be purposely doing this at this point. He must want to play on the road in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if that happens, he better go like 8 for 12 with 3 home runs if they end up on the road.
He better do what Harper did last year.
Yeah. I'm gonna need that on the road if he's gonna screw around and be one of the main reasons why this wild card lead. I won't say it hasn't really shrunk, but it hasn't grown is the problem. And
yeah, they always do this. It's like you have so much room, and it's like, I guess you can't knock it too much because they win when the other teams win, but like they lose every time the other team loses, and they can build ground. It's like the Cubs, like at most it's fluctuated from like 2.5 to 1.5 games in the last week and a half when they haven't been playing well, which, like, okay, you lost a game, but realistically it's still 2.5 with the tiebreaker, but like it should be like 4.5 or 5.5.
Yeah. So the Phillies are still somehow the first wild card team at 79-67. They were 15 games over 500 not too long ago. That is 4 games up on the third spot, who is the Giants now all of a sudden.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the Giants are in the spot, but it's technically a 3-way tie winning percentage wise between the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and the Reds, with the Marlins a half game back. So it could realistically, there's 16 games left. I think the Giants have 17 left. It could realistically be any of those 4 teams, which I don't care about. I think it's pretty locked in. It's going to be the Phillies and the Cubs in the top 2. It's just where's the games being played.
Yeah.
So the Phillies 1.5 game lead over the Cubs. Technically 2.5 because the Phillies have the tiebreaker over the Cubs from the season series. 16 to go. The Phillies got a lot of help, actually, because the Cubs lost a series to the Rockies this week, which the Phillies would be in serious trouble if that did not happen. But we have an interesting weekend series for the Cubs, too, because they play at Arizona. Here's the problem. The week after, next week, they start a 6-game homestand against the Pirates and the Rockies. So the Phillies this weekend against the Cardinals, who they swept in Philly a couple weeks ago, they need to at least win at least 2 out of 3.
Yeah, for sure.
And
at least
there's a little bit of a bright side though. The Cubs finished the season on a 6-game road trip against the Braves and the Brewers. The problem is both those teams will probably be locked in by then, and I'm not sure how much effort they're going to put in.
I don't know about effort, because like as we saw with the Braves, like no matter who they put in, they're going to rake. But like it's just a matter of saving arms, lining up pitching. Like I don't know who. I'm assuming the Braves are like the first 3 of that 6-game.
They are.
But like they might see Fried in game 1, and then like I don't know what else, but maybe like Fried and Elder, and then after that, like who cares, because Fried and Elder get them one more start and give them like 5 or 6 days off, like a week off before the playoffs. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it'll depend on pitching. They probably won't overwork their bullpen arms too much.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So
hopefully the Brewers lose like a little bit, just to like keep that division close so they have something
They
to play
have
for.
to try at the end there. Yeah, that would be nice. I do agree there. So Phillies, St. Louis this weekend. Like I said, got to win at least 2 out of 3. Then you go to Atlanta. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's gonna go. Then you get 4 at home against the Mets, and then 3 at home against Pittsburgh, and then finish with 3 at the Mets.
They have like a combined winning percentage of like 450 maybe, and that's like the most terrifying 11 game stretch ever.
I know, because the Mets are winning games still.
Dude, they just like swept the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
and
they were killing them. Like, it wasn't close.
They put up like they won a game 11-1 that Merrill Kelly started.
Yeah. They're still like the pitching. The Phillies struggled with Verlander and Scherzer, obviously, but they're both gone. Kodai Senga's still there. You got to imagine they might face him twice in this stretch.
Yeah,
which would be an issue.
and he killed them.
I will say it is nice that Mark Canna's gone, because I feel like he was like the Philly killer so much. And I think is Marte done for the year? Is he playing?
He might be done, but like Alonso in those 7 games will hit 10 home runs.
Yeah, they still have Lindor, Nimmo, Alonso at the top of their lineup, and Jeff McNeil is around there, I guess, which that doesn't help. Yeah, the Mets thing still scares me a little bit, especially because I feel like I don't know if we'll see how this road trip goes, but if like doubt starts to creep into this team's mind, it's not going to be.
No, it's going to be stressful, especially in Queens. It's not going to be fun.
No. Yeah, that's the last 3 of the season is there. I don't understand this scheduling, because the Phillies had an off day yesterday. Then they travel to St. Louis. Then there's no off day. They go to Atlanta. No off day, 4-game series at home with the Mets. And then there's an off day that Monday before the Pirates come in. So it
really
has to be
weird.
something with the Pirates, I guess. But
yeah,
that's
I don't know. Yeah,
so weird.
That's like the second time in a month where we had an off day in the middle of a homestand.
Yeah, they had the San
It was
Francisco
like the Angel series.
Yeah, it was after the San Francisco series. They had an off day, and then the Cardinals came in for the weekend. Yeah. So weird. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So before we go, we got to talk about this. So as we talked about, the Braves clinched the division on what night was that? Wednesday night? Yeah, Wednesday night, with the 4-1 win. And the Phillies put this up on that new ass scoreboard they got, that big shiny thing they talked about all offseason. The Astros put up something for the Phillies when they clinched the wild card spot at the end of the season last year. I don't know if like MLB makes them do this.
So
I don't know.
Matt Gelb tweeted out for everybody like that was upset about it, like it's like MLB mandated or like required. I don't know. We haven't made the playoffs in like 10 years before last year, so like right. I wouldn't have known if that became a thing, but like, I mean, you know how I felt about Middleton letting the Mets throw out the first pitch, and like the Astros did it last year, and obviously like now it's different to say this, but like at the time, the Phillies and the Astros could not give less of a damn about each other.
Yeah, that is
like
true.
You are doing this for your division rival, who in the last like 25, 30 years had a streak of like 14 straight division titles, and now this is their 6th with no end in sight. Like it makes me so mad that whether the league requires them to do it or not, like rivalries are good. Like, yeah, sure, like sportsmanship, whatever. Like, who cares if they won the division again? Don't put that on your Jumbotron if and Castellanos was on the end of the dugout watching them celebrate or whatever. Like, do something about it then. Don't go up there flailing at sliders in the lefty's batter box or grounding into first pitch double plays in the ninth inning after you just tied the game. Like, you can take all the motivational, corny pictures that you want. You can talk about the other team all you want. Like, actually do something about it and show that you care instead of just like saying it. Actions speak louder than words, and they've done nothing to oppose the Braves aside from last year.
Yeah, you're 100% right. There was also the whole Acuna hit a home run and did like 4 different celebrations around the field, and Thompson was on WIP the next day, and
they did kind of
was taken out of context a little bit.
Yeah, it was very out of context. Like, he even hinted that he doesn't like love everything that our guys do. Yeah. So like at the same time, then like Acuna hit the ball almost to that scoreboard off Wheeler the other day. Like, if he hits a ball 450 feet off the Licio sign into the second deck, like, he's gonna do whatever the hell he wants. Like, don't hang curveballs to him.
Yeah. And that kind of seemed to rile up the Braves a little more, even though Thompson kind of said, like, I don't have a problem with it, but I'd want our guys to act like they've been here before, whatever. And pretty much the first part of I don't really have a problem with it got clipped out, and MLB on Fox, Bleacher Report, ESPN ran with I want our guys to act like they've been there before. And then that annoying ass Tyler Mazick dude just runs his mouth like crazy.
Yeah,
the bullpen guy who I don't even think plays, right?
No, I think he might have retired after they won the World Series.
Yeah. So yeah, he had to get involved, of course. All right. Well, I see, and the thing is, I thought maybe they did that because there's a chance the Phillies can clinch a playoff spot in Atlanta next week, but we looked into it, and pretty much they'd have to win all 6 games on the road trip, and the other 4 teams vying for that last spot would have to all go like 2-4, which
also, like, it doesn't even matter if they do, because like the Braves, who won 6 straight division titles, they post on their scoreboard like, congrats on winning the wild card, little brother. Like, that's what it's going to be. Yeah. And everybody's going to be like, yeah, like, the Braves did this because they have to. Like, they could not give 2 shits about your wild card appearance. And the Phillies are like putting congrats on winning the division, and it's like, it's just a bad look. Like, it's a lose-lose scenario for us, and that's why you needed to not let them win it on your home field, and you put up no resistance at all.
No, they the offense outside of the Wednesday game put up a lot of resistance. It was on the pitching, and then of course they actually held the Braves to 4 runs, which is a win every day of the week, and they scored 1. So
yeah,
this is how this team is. When they score 8, they give up 10. When they give up 3, they score 1. It's been going on here forever at this point. It feels like since 2012.
I think that, so they're what now, 3-8 against the Braves this year. I think they were 2-5 before this series.
Yeah, 3-8.
And like the 3-8, I feel like obviously this week was so frustrating. We just talked about like how annoying and how I said that they put up no resistance. Like, realistically, they've looked like they belong on the same field as them. So I'm interested to see like what a playoff series between the 2 teams looks like if it gets there. The Cubs are obviously very good, but it kind of seems like they're on a collision course for that NLDS matchup again. And the games, there hasn't been like a blowout where like they like obviously the Braves offense is like superhuman. They set the National League record for home runs with 17 games left to play. Like, they're insane. They're like team slugging percentages over 500. But like this week, like the Braves went up like 5-1, 6-1, and the Phillies came right back. Like, we have bats to do it when the bats are going right. They're just like, right now there's just kind of 2 holes in the lineup with guys you expect to be very good in Castellanos and Real Muto, and they're just kind of thrown right in that like 5-6 slot, and it just kind of kills the buzz.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm hoping that going to St. Louis this weekend will get them back to thinking about where their playoff run started last year. That is my hope. Really quick, let's look at these pitching matchups. We got Nola tonight against this Zach Thompson, who has a 4.
I was actually thinking, like, I was so annoyed with how the Brave series went in terms of like pitching wise, and I was like, wait, Nola didn't even pitch that series.
No. Saturday is Suarez versus Miles Michaelis, who has an ERA closing in on 5. And Sunday is Taiwan Walker, who stinks, against Dakota Hudson. I am so mad that this team has not seen Wainwright. I want to.
He just got a win. He just got another win. He needs one more.
He's at 199. He's hosting post-game press or concerts now, apparently.
You're thrilled that they're not seeing him, because I know how you are. And if he got win 200 against the Phillies, you would be out of your mind.
Yeah, him and his 8.5 ERA. I would flip out if they didn't score 10 runs on him in 3 innings.
You'd be so mad.
I would be, because because the thing is, I wanted them to ruin his chance at 200 though, because they pretty much broke their quote unquote core dynasty, whatever the hell you want to call it, last year. This would just be like the cherry on top to take that away too. It would just be so funny. But all 6 games they have not seen Wainwright, which is disappointing.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just know he'd pitch well against us, so I'm not losing sleep over it.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. Well, that's going to do it for this one. We will see how this road trip goes and then reconvene after that to see where this team is at. Hopefully they're in a better spot than they are right now. If it's worse, I don't know if we'll do this ever again. No, I'm kidding. Well, maybe not, but we'll see you next time.